What's up, hackers? CryptoMux, or also known as Zoid here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a bit about CIDRs and how it can be used to increase the scale of the scope. So CIDR stands for classless interdomain routing. And what that basically is a way to allocate IP addresses in the internet. So if you have a look at this, we'll just open up a new tab. The definition is pretty good. I like the definition of what Google has given it. Pretty much a CID is a classless interdomain routing, is a method for allocating IP addresses and for IP routing. But this, say we want to attack PayPal, right? Say we're a bad hacker, we're like a malicious type of hacker. You know, as a white hat hacker or ethical hacker, we have to think inside the shoes as a malicious hacker and try and figure out what they would be doing to the network. Try and figure out, think in a black hat's shoes and figure out what they can do in order for us to prevent the vulnerability or prevent the company from being exploited. Now, there's this really good website. I'll just go to my Twitter really quickly because I actually tweeted something really cool about this, and I discovered it myself. Feel free to actually follow me on Twitter if you want to. It's just ZoidSec, so Z0ID Now, okay, so here's the web address here. I even give you the tips here, but I'm going to go in detail about how to do this. So what I'm going to be teaching you is these two tips here, and we're going to be starting with this tip right here, which is if you want to test at scale, try looking up the CIDR from an IP with this address. And then we want to basically Masscan and get all the IP addresses from the subnet. Then we can use Nuclear to find vulnerabilities, or we can use get.js and JS monitor, basically fetch your JavaScript and monitor the JavaScript. Because when we look in JavaScript, that's looking deep. That's how we find, we might find internal domains that we can add to our SSRF list. If you find our SSRF, we can fuzz the parameter or the path with the SSRF list we found from all the internal domains in JavaScript. We might find some API keys, we might find some DOM XSS, things like that. We might find hidden private endpoints we can traverse back and access with it that we're not even supposed to be able to access through a path traversal SSRF. But let's have a look at this website here. And what it says here is IP goes here. I just replace that with a placeholder. IP goes here. So if we want to get the IP address, we just go to Showdown, and say we want to attack PayPal, we'll go org PayPal, because we just want the IP address of PayPal. Any IP address. We'll do this pnspaypal.com. We'll grab that, and we'll put the IP address in there. And what that's going to show is that the CIDR of PayPal. Obviously, it's PayPal site. The organization is PayPal Inc., but we want to get this CIDR, and we want to open up a new terminal. And simply what we need to do is we need to scan this entire subnet with Masscan. We just go Masscan, which should be here, bin, and we'll go Masscan, and we want to use the range argument, and we'll put in that there. Another thing is this actually we can actually look at how many IPs we're going to roughly get. So let's have a look at this image that I can show you, which is CIDR. Just put that in Google and go to images. Okay, so if we go to this example here, now we look at the /20, because that's what we're given, a /20. And let's have a look at that on the list here. So /20, we're going to get around about 4,000 IP addresses. As you can see here, the submask or subnet mask is 255.240.0. This is kind of like the ending IP, so to speak. Let's have a look at this. So we've gone 173.0.80.0/20. So we're going to get about, 4,000 IP addresses. We want to scan for ports 80, and then we'll do 80 and then 443, and then we'll also output this as we can call it a file like PayPal.txt or PayPal.ips.txt. And we can also do the rate, but we just want, and we can change the rate to like like a decent amount of like 10,000, 100,000, and that will speed up the scan. But if you're doing it on a local network, it could cause a DOS on your local network. That's why it's best to use a VPS, which is what I'm doing at this instance. Not in this one here. This is actually WSL, but in my, don't want to show you because I'm actually attacking a website at the moment. I'm actually finding vulnerabilities in the network at the moment through this same technique that I don't want to disclose because I am working on it with another friend. You probably know Zite. I'm working on it with him. I don't want to show you the website we're working on. So this is probably what we're going to be doing here. Yep, so we're going to, yep, okay, we'll just do that. We need to run it as root. We're just going to change the rate to maybe 10,000. And we need to run it as root. So that's good. I'm not yours automatically found. It's already found 594 IPs. Okay, that's pretty much done. It's just waiting 4 seconds for it to I thought it was going to take a while, but it actually didn't, which is good. Okay, so that's saved as PayPal IPs. Let's actually have a look at that. And just a word count. We got 597. Let's sort, because sort might actually make it less, which I'm pretty sure it will. No, it's still the same. Okay, this is what we need to do. We need to do a special. So as you can see here, we've got the timestamp as the first sort of field. The second field is this here, and the third field is that. So we want the fourth field, which would be the IP address. Let's orc this out and choose the fourth field, which will be that, which will be all the IPs. We also want to grep for, as you can see, they're all starting with 173. So we actually want to grep for that, because we actually don't want any of the, at the start there's always like, you know, it tells you like, it's got some text like ports Masscan, so we want to get rid of that. And then we want to resolve these with Httpx, and that's going to give us all the IP addresses are actually resolved. And we'll just put that in IPs resolved.txt. We'll run that, and that's going to give us all the resolved IPs from PayPal. This is a much better way of actually doing it. You can actually use Subfinder and ZDNS. I think it's ZDNS, which is like Zone DNS. I can't remember what it stands for. If we want to have a look at that one too, we can actually go to Axiom, because they have a really good command that they can use to do this, and you can screenshot too, which is finding IPs from just using Subfinder. I have it here. Let's have a look. It's pretty much where is it? This one here. Subfinder silent-d for the domain, and then uses ZDNS A, and then just basically gets all the IP addresses. That's another way of doing it, but I figured this way is better because you're scanning the whole subnet, which is better. And then what we can do here, now we've got all the resolved IPs. IPs resolved right there. We can either screenshot them if we want to, which you probably could screenshot them, but I'm not going to really do that. And as you can see, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the CIDR, and we're going to put that in scope. So I'm going to put that here like this. And there you go. That's going to actually, now what we can do is we can just make sure we only show in scope items, and then make sure we only intercept in scope items, and make sure we turn on the spider in. We won't turn on submit just by going to IPs resolved, and copy all these and put them in here. Now it's going to load all the IP addresses in Burp as well. So Burp's going to then go spidering through all these IP addresses, so it can spider through all these and passively scan and whatnot. And as you can see, they've look at this. It's got all the IP addresses we just scanned for. So we can then do that, you know, just to submit each one. As of course they're from PayPal. They're purely from PayPal because we looked at the CIDR. This one here has a kind of a deceptive thing going on here. It's interesting. Maybe I shouldn't look at that one. Let's ignore the risk and see what we can do. Let's see if it actually is deceptive or. Okay, no, it doesn't seem deceptive at all. Okay, fair enough. It's marked as deceptive, but it's actually not. Strange. Let's just go through all these. Obviously, we've got the certification error issue because it's on port 80 and it hasn't got SSL. So let's just click on all these. There's no automation way of doing this unless you've got, like, you know, Selenium or whatnot. Oh, look at this. Okay, this is interesting. We've got something here to internal command. It's really interesting, this. Something to look at. But yeah, you'll find some really cool stuff doing this, and then I'll show you another trick after, just for an example. Say we clicked on all these, it's gonna take a while. But then what we can do is we can then just spider and just basically passively spider, get logger ++, and this is gonna be basically getting everything that this is basically be logging everything. So then what we can do is we can grep for patterns. Say we want to grep for our URL. We grep for URL equals, and we can then test for SSRF. As you can see, there's actually some response matches, but there's no request matches. So we're not going to be really getting no SSRF like in a response. So we need a request for either parameter, a path, or a header to find SSRF. So let's grep for like maybe let's grep for let's actually use use another snippet. Request body. What can we do? Request. Well, let's do request. Let's do request. Query contains, say, JSON-P. Because if it contains JSON-P, sometimes you might get some sensitive information. Let's have a look at that. Is it JSON-P maybe? No JSON-Ps. Let's maybe grep for a set cookie. I think it was like a BPS. Let's do server ORs, or let's just grep for ORs. Okay, so this might have ORs here. Let's have a look. That's view and log. Let's actually grep for response body contains ORs. Let's grab this. Let's paste that in. Okay, so these ones have ORs. Let's have a look at the response. Okay. This has ORs. As you can see, it's not in the header. So let's actually look for the header. Let's go response header contains ORs, and it should look for headers that contains ORs. None. Let's try maybe Nginx. Okay, there's a lot of Nginx for the server. There's one. And we could just basically just keep on going through, grepping things out. And this is one way to actually find good vulnerabilities, looking deep as well, just as by using the IPs. Hope you like this tip. And yeah, enjoy your hacking, bros. Have a good one. Bye.